Welcome to Vietnam and Basic Training. Here you will learn the fundamentals of jungle warfare. Head to the obstacle course to get started. Let's go over movement. Sprint through the course, crouch under obstacles and vault over walls. Climb the ladder. Use it to reach vantage points on the battlefield. Now, walk off the ledge to drop down. Use the bandage to heal yourself when wounded. Swim and dive through this next area of the course. Swim to get across waterways and dive to avoid obstacles in enemy sight. You can only hold your breath underwater for so long. Jump over the obstacle ahead. Bayonet is a powerful melee attachment that can be equipped to your weapon. Do this now and attack the dummy ahead. When you're aiming down sights, you can lean left or right to peek around corners without exposing yourself fully. When you're up close, a quick swing can take out an enemy before they even know you're there. Going prone keeps your head low. Use it to crawl under barriers or avoid getting hit. Hell Let Loose is built around the command structure. Unit members follow their unit leader. Unit leaders take orders from the commander. Communication wins battles. There are 3 radio channels. Unit communicates with your unit members, proximity with teammates nearby, and unit leaders have the leadership channel to speak to other unit leaders and the commander. Open the tactical map. This is the tactical map. Use it to coordinate tactics with your fellow soldiers and keep track of the battle as it unfolds. Referring to the grid, icons and non-verbal markers are just some of the tools that can be utilised to support effective communication. These are all the different structures that can be placed during the battle. Squads use these structures to redeploy and get back into the fight. The placement of these structures wins battles. Outflank and dominate the enemy. The field pad allows you to build spawns across the battlefield. Equip it now to place an outpost. This allows your team to quickly deploy to the field. Now, climb the ladder to the next move marker. When words aren't fast enough, you can use a non-verbal communication marker to indicate different types of danger. Give it a go and mark the infantry targets ahead. Let's go over combat. Aim down the sights to improve accuracy. Shoot the targets ahead, aiming for the helmet to guarantee an instant kill. Running out of munitions in the heat of battle can be costly, so resupply from the ammo boxes if you need. Now, climb back down the ladder and move to the next location. Grenades are a powerful explosive item. Equip one now and throw it towards the enemies. Now let's learn the fundamentals of capture points. Welcome to Vietnam and Basic Training. Here you will learn the fundamentals of jungle warfare. Head to the obstacle course to get started. Let's go over movement. Sprint through the course, crouch under obstacles and vault over walls. Climb the ladder. Use it to reach vantage points on the battlefield. Now, walk off the ledge to drop down. Use the bandage to heal yourself when wounded. Swim and dive through this next area of the course. Swim to get across waterways and dive to avoid obstacles and enemy sights. You can only hold your breath underwater for so long. Jump over the obstacle ahead. The bayonet is a powerful melee attachment that can be equipped to your weapon. Do this now and attack the dummy ahead. When you're aiming down sights, you can lean left or right to peek around corners without exposing yourself fully. When you're up close, going prone keeps your head low. Use it to crawl under barriers or avoid getting hit. Hell Let Loose is built around the command structure. Unit members follow their unit leader. Unit leaders take orders from the commander. Communication wins battles. There are 3 radio channels. Unit communicates with your unit members, proximity with teammates nearby, and unit leaders have the leadership channel to speak to other unit leaders and the commander. Open the tactical map. This is the tactical map. Use it to coordinate tactics with your fellow soldiers and keep track of the battle as it unfolds. Referring to the grid, icons and non-verbal markers are just some of the tools that can be utilised to support effective communication. These are all the different structures that can be placed during the battle. Squads use these structures to redeploy and get back into the fight. The placement of these structures wins battles. Outflank and dominate the enemy. The field pad allows you to build spawns across the battlefield. Equip it now to place an outpost. This allows your team to quickly deploy to the field. Now, climb the ladder to the next move marker. When words aren't fast enough, you can use a non-verbal communication marker to indicate different types of danger. Give it a go and mark the infantry targets ahead. Let's go over combat. Aim down the sights to improve accuracy. Shoot the targets ahead, aiming for the helmet to guarantee an instant kill. Running out of munitions in the heat of battle can be costly, so resupply from the ammo boxes if you need. Now, climb back down the ladder and move to the next location. Grenades are a powerful explosive item. Equip one now and throw it towards the enemies. Now let's learn the fundamentals of capture points. Head over to the next move marker. A capture point is one of the main objectives that both teams fight for control. A capture point is under a team's control when their numbers exceed that of their enemies. The team that controls the capture point has ownership over map territory. These are known as sectors and they dictate the flow of the battle. Now move inside the hard capture radius of the capture point. This is the most important location for contesting the objective. The capture point is contested. Neutralise all the enemies to start capturing the point. You've found an enemy garrison. Dismantle it to prevent enemies from redeploying and contesting the point. Good job, you've captured your first capture point. Check the map and observe the territory you've just claimed from the enemy. Well done, you've successfully completed your training.
Welcome to Squad Leader Training. Here you will learn about the different types of spawn structures that can be utilised in a battle, including their strategic advantages and limitations. As an NBA squad leader, you will also learn how to build and utilise a tunnel network. Now, let's open the tactical map. Before we start, it's important to understand sectors and territory. Highlighted on the tactical map is the capture point, which consists of a 2x2 grid square called the soft capture, and within it, a smaller circle known as the hard capture. The team that controls the capture point has control over sector territory. There are several types of territory, including neutral, friendly, unlocked, and locked enemy territory. Now the outpost is a spawn structure specific to your squad. With a shorter redeploy wave, it's the quickest of all spawn structures. Use it to keep your squad together and redeploy quickly into the battle. The outpost is the only spawn structure that can be built in neutral territory, and it doesn't cost any supplies to place. Observe the capture point being seized by our team and the territory changing from neutral to friendly. Friendly territory allows squad leaders and the commander to place garrisons at a lower supply cost. Now, close the tactical map again. Garrisons, unlike outposts, aren't limited to a single squad. Instead, they allow the entire team to deploy on them. The garrison costs less to place in friendly territory, and supplies can be provided by a specialist player, support vehicles, and a supply drop called in by the commander. Build a garrison in the highlighted area. A tunnel is a special kind of structure used by the NBA to build a network of rapid deploy locations. Build one now in the highlighted area. Observe the capture point being seized by the enemy team and the territory changing from friendly to unlocked enemy territory. Because our team lost the territory, all spawn structures we've placed have been destroyed. While spawns can still be placed within unlocked enemy territory, doing so requires a higher supply cost. However, in locked enemy territory, such as columns G through J, no spawns and tunnel structures can be placed in those sectors. Now, close the tactical map once more. Garrisons in unlocked enemy territory. It's important to remember that garrisons need to be placed at least 200 meters away from each other. NVA garrisons can also be connected to tunnels. It's time to build your first tunnel network. Open the tactical map. Command has placed a tunnel in E5. First, select the tunnel icon, then select the garrison we just built to make a connection. We can now fast travel using the tunnel network. Start by entering the garrison. The time it takes to travel varies based on the distance between the two structures. Dismantling a tunnel or spawn structure will remove the placement cooldown and will free up space for the commander and squad leaders to place other structures of their own. It will also break any tunnel connections made previously. Now it's time to build a larger tunnel network. Open the tactical map again and let's get started. Remember, only the MVA commander and squad leaders can connect and disconnect tunnels. The distance between the two structures is limited, and garrisons can only connect to tunnels and not each other. Well done, you have completed your training. Welcome to Specialist and Engineer Training. Specialist and Engineer players can work together to build structures that can reshape the battlefield. Let's start with learning about the Specialist role. Specialist players are essential as they can place supplies and ammunition for other teammates to utilise. A nearby teammate has requested explosive ammo. Get over there and supply them. An engineer has left a barricade blueprint along the road that needs to be built. Use the hammer in your loadout to finish constructing it. Any nearby teammates with a hammer can help speed up the building process as well. Great job, but we can do more. Upgrade the barricade to the next level. Certain structures, like the barricade and bunker, can be improved by using extra supplies. Once upgraded, they can withstand more damage and can even provide more cover at higher upgrade levels. A teammate's calling for supplies. Place them in the marked location. Supplies are the lifeblood of the team. With them, squad leaders can set up spawn points and engineers can build defences to help fortify your position. Your squad leader is requesting you redeploy as an engineer and help secure your team's defensive position. You are now playing as the engineer. From building defences like barbed wire and barricades, to repair and resupply stations for vehicles, the engineer is able to reshape the battlefield. Build a manpower node in the designated space. You can use the wrench in your loadout to place the blueprint, then use the hammer to build it. This is one of 3 resource nodes that generate resources for the commander, allowing them to call in devastating offensive strikes, spawning new vehicles for the team, and much more. Now, let's build up our defences to hold off future enemy attacks. Place some barbed wire in the highlighted area. The engineer has a blowtorch in their loadout that can be used to repair damaged vehicles. Let's approach the nearby tank and help it out. Other engineers can assist in order to speed up repair time. As an engineer, you're also able to destroy enemy structures. You can interact with them, or go for the more explosive option and use a satchel charge. To start, let's approach the first barrier and dismantle it. Great job. Now let's move to the marked area and use the satchel charge to destroy the next barrier. When using the satchel, be sure to stand back. It has a large explosive radius.
Welcome to Grenadier and Machine Gunner training. There are a myriad of vehicles you'll come across on the battlefield, and some roles are designed to help take them out. We're starting with the Grenadier, a role that has access to explosive weaponry that can disrupt and destroy enemy armor and light vehicles. Equip the RPG to take down the tank ahead. It's important to consider armor thickness when aiming your attacks. The engine compartment at the rear of the tank has the least protection. Disabling the tracks will bring the tank to a crawl. Disabling its turret will weaken its offensive capabilities. Destroying its hull will wipe the tank out completely. Great work! The Grenadier can also place mines that cause massive damage to enemies that trigger them. Let's place an AP mine in the road up ahead. Now it's time to learn a new role. Please redeploy and select the machine gunner role. You are now playing as the machine gunner. With access to a deployable MG with a large magazine, the machine gunner is excellent at suppressing the enemy and halting waves of attacks. First things first, an enemy boat is nearby and we need to deal with its driver and passengers. Mount your MG for improved accuracy and take them out. MGs are excellent at suppressing and killing the operators and passengers of lightly armoured vehicles like the boat. Suppression blurs enemy vision and improves your chances at taking them out. As an MVA machine gunner, you have access to an AA gun capable of suppressing and destroying enemy helicopters. Use the wrench to place it and the hammer to build it in the highlighted area. Now, enter the AA gun and shoot down the enemy chopper. The AA gun is the most effective at disrupting the helicopter's aerial dominance. Enough concentrated fire will bring one crashing down. You have successfully completed your training.
Welcome to Recon Training. The Recon Squad comprises of two roles, Spotter and Sniper. It's Recon's job to relay enemy sightings, neutralize threats, and disrupt enemy movements and resources behind enemy lines. Let's get started. Move to the marked location. You're playing the Spotter, the acting leader of the Recon Squad. Let's start by placing an outpost. To do this, equip the field pad and place the outpost inside the designated area. This outpost can only be used by your squad when redeploying. Outposts placed by Recon Squads are the only type of outpost that can be placed in locked enemy territory. Enemy forces have been spotted across the river. Move to the next marked location overlooking the bridge. Let's pinpoint where the enemy forces are located. Equip your flare gun. Aim and fire above the marked location. Good shot. Now open your tactical map and observe the flare's circular radius and the enemy positions that have been detected. Equip your binoculars and mark enemies with the correct non-verbal markers. Keep a lookout for enemy infantry, tank, and garrison targets. Well done! Now it's time to learn how to play as the sniper. In a battle scenario, you would be joined by another team member playing as the sniper, but this is training, so let's teach you the basics of playing sniper as well. First, we need to redeploy. Select the sniper role and then deploy on the outpost we placed down earlier. You're now in the sniper role. Follow orders from the spotter and use your sniper rifle to spot and eliminate enemy threats. Move back to the vantage point. Now, neutralize all the enemy targets we spotted earlier. Aim down the sight and steady your aim before taking a shot. You must stop aiming down the sight to cycle the bolt between shots. So, take your time and be precise. Well done! You have successfully completed recon training.
Welcome to mortar training. The mortar squad is made up of the observer, the support, and the gunner roles. You are the gunner, a key role of your squad. You have access to a wrench and hammer you can use to build the mortar and defend it. Let's start by building the mortar. The mortar is a powerful offensive weapon with a lot of range, but it's important you set it up in a good location where you're out of enemy sights and able to reach your targets. Now, let's redeploy as the observer where we can use the flare to scout for enemies for the squad. You are now the observer, leader of your squad. It's your job to locate enemies and provide effective communication and targets to your team. Let's locate some enemies. Equip your flare gun and aim towards the marker. Good job. Using your tactical map, you can see where the enemies are located. Now, let's enter the aimer seat. Here, you can line up the scope with the target and use the metric conversion chart to find the correct elevation. Another marker has come in for us to target. Let's readjust and keep going. Well done. You have successfully completed mortar training.
Welcome to Commander Training. It is your job to lead your team to victory by organising squads, placing spawns, and using resources to control the battlefield. Let's start by learning about Commander abilities. All of the Commander abilities can be found within the tactical map. They will depend on cooldowns and the available resources on the map, which is why it's important to have your squads build resource nodes. Resource nodes are important tools that generate materials for the commander, which can then be used to support the wider team through commander abilities. There are 3 types of nodes: manpower, munitions, and fuel. Up to 3 sets of each can be built, and this can only be done by an engineer. Coordinating with your team is vital to get the necessary resources flowing across the battlefield. The blue dots, or blueberries, are your friendly teammates. Beside them are the nodes and their respective icons. The circle around each node shows its area of effect, and is useful when placing them as a set of nodes, which provide more buffs when placed in proximity of one another. Once enough resources are generated, commander abilities can then be selected from the list and placed across the map. It helps to keep an eye on the territory ownership and the grid while placing them, as not all placements are valid. To start, let's call in a supply truck at the HQ for your team. Good job. The supply truck can be used to carry a large quantity of supplies from headquarters to the front lines, and can make multiple drops at a time. Great job. The supply drop is a great way of getting supplies quickly across the battlefield, and can be utilised by your team to get a wide network of spawns and structures set up. They can be used as many times as you need, respective of the cooldown between uses. Supplies are on the way. Let's place down a marker to let our team know and request they build a garrison there. Now, let's focus on attacking the enemy point. By using the recon ability, we can scout ahead to the next capture point to see what enemies await us. The ability covers an entire strip of the battlefield, and within that, you will see a snapshot of both enemy infantry and vehicle locations. Now we can see enemies on the tactical map. Let's call in a napalm strike to clear out the point. The napalm strike does massive damage across a wide area. but will harm friendlies as well as enemies, so use it wisely. Our territory is under attack. Let's place a defend marker on the friendly point to let our team know. Use the reinforced ability on the point to support our troops. This will bolster our team's presence on the ground and help us fight off the enemy. We are reclaiming our territory from the enemy. Let's return to capturing enemy territory. Place an attack marker over the enemy hardcap to let our team know where to go next. Now let's use an artillery strike to blast the enemy point before our team advances. The artillery strike is another offensive ability that does a wide area of damage in multiple rounds. It costs less munitions to use than the napalm strike. Excellent. We're taking the point from the enemy. Well done. You've successfully completed commander training.
Welcome to armor training. Enter the tank and start the engine. The driver is responsible for getting the tank into the fight. Manually shift through the gears for precise control and speed over the vehicle. Maneuver your crew around the battlefield and get the better of the enemy. Start by getting familiar with the 4 forward gears and the single reverse gear. When you're ready, drive to the marked location. Stop here. Observe close to the road the resupply and repair stations. When within radius, any damage sustained to the tank will be repaired and replenished with ammo and supplies. Now, drive to the next marked location. You are approaching a shallow crossing. A shallow crossing is a safe section of river that's shallow enough for vehicles to cross. Keep an eye out for these when there are no bridges. Stop here. Now, switch to the commander seat to continue. The periscope operator acts as the eyes of the squad, typically reserved for the tank commander. Use the periscope to help direct the tank's every move. Maximize your situational awareness using the periscope's 360-degree view. Watch your flanks, spot the enemy infantry and armor, and mark any nearby threats for your team. Try marking some nearby enemies. Watch out. We've just been hit by incoming fire. Enable the smoke screen to conceal our position from the enemy. The tank and equip your blowtorch to repair the damage. Tank damage can occur in several ways, and the specific location of the damage can result in losing mobility and combat effectiveness. Damaged tracks will impact gear shifting, slowing it down. Engine damage will immobilize the tank from moving and turning. Turret damage will limit the rotational speed, and extensive damage to the hull will cause the tank to explode. Well done. The tank is repaired. Enter the tank and switch to the gunner's seat. The gunner's sole responsibility is taking out the opposition, making use of the various shells at your disposal to destroy the enemy armor and groups of infantry. Let's start by using the coaxial machine gun on nearby enemies. It's very effective at suppressing and neutralizing enemy soldiers. left to the next marked location. Always use lower gears when driving up steep terrain. Stop here. Enemy vehicles spotted. Use armor-piercing and high-explosive rounds to take them out. Use armor-piercing rounds on heavily armored vehicles, like this enemy tank. Aim for the hull beneath the turret, or the engine at the back to deal the most damage. High explosive rounds are ineffective against armoured vehicles, but are lethal against light enemy vehicles.
Welcome to boat training. Enter the boat and start the engine. There are 3 seats in the boat: the driver, front gunner and rear gunner. To operate the boat and turn the engine on, we need to be in the driver's seat. Use the controls on screen and pilot the boat to the marked location. Now, let's dock the boat here. Pull the boat up to the dock and switch the engine off. Now the engine is off, both you and your team can spawn on the boat. On your tactical map, this is indicated by a green icon. Right, now follow the river upstream to the next move marker. Now stop the boat here. Turn the engine off to use the anchor and keep the boat stationary. Let's switch to a gunner seat and light up some targets. Let's move on to supply drops. Head over to the next move marker. To drop supplies. Move to the highlighted area and make the drop. These supplies can be used by unit leaders to place spawn points, and engineers can use them to build resource nodes and defensive structures. Now drop the next set of supplies wherever you think is best. In a real combat scenario, choosing the right spot can make all the difference for your squad. Nicely done. Now follow the river upstream back to where you started. Observe close to the dock the resupply and repair station. When you're in range, damage taken will be repaired and ammunition and supplies will be replenished. Switch off the engine to complete your training.
Welcome to helicopter training. The helicopter squad is comprised of the logistics officer and the pilot. It is your job to work together to provide air support, transport, and supplies to your team across the battlefield. Let's start by getting in the pilot seat and turning the engine on. We are now airborne. Let's get familiar with the 3 primary helicopter rotations: pitch, roll, and yaw. Great job! Now, let's follow the course and hit all the checkpoints to get used to flying. Well done. Now, let's try landing in that field over there. Take your time. Adjust your forward and backward pitch to start hovering over the landing area. Then, slowly lower the collective to decrease altitude. Let's drop some supplies. Switch to the co-pilot seat and follow the controls on screen. The supplies we've just dropped can be used by the team to place garrisons and defenses. Let's return to the helipad to get some more supplies. must land the helicopter on a helipad and turn the engine off. You cannot gain the benefits of the helipad while the engine is on. Helipads have the function of resupplying the helicopter when it has run out of supplies, and repairing the helicopter if it is damaged, so it is important to utilize them as often as you need. Now that we're resupplied, let's move to the next location and drop more supplies. Great job. Now let's redeploy next to a transport helicopter. Stationary helicopters on helipads in HQs can be used as a spawn point. The transport helicopter is used primarily to transport squads quickly across the battlefield. They are equipped with 2 machine guns and recon flares. Enter the co-pilot seat, where you will learn how to use the recon ability. The helicopter will now take off automatically and remain in a hover state. Now, fire the flare to detect enemies below. Well done. Now, open your tactical map and observe the flare radius and the enemy positions that have been detected. Now switch to a gunner seat and neutralize the nearby ground enemies.